Hey guys, how's it going? Here's Tracilyn. Whoa, he zoomed in a little bit too much there. I'm also known as VCat. What I did is I've been reevaluating some of my videos that I've been recording here the last couple of days in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure of the township of exactly where I am right now, but I used to spend a lot of time at this place with my dog. We call it Memorial Lake. Not sure if it's still called that anymore. You could look it up, check it out. But as I was reevaluating some of the video footage that I made over the last couple of days while I'm visiting and taking you through the history of my life, I decided to come out here where I spent a lot of quality time with a dog that I will share with you how much this dog taught me in our relationship. I learned a lot from having a relationship with an animal. You will see I have a lot of history with him. So anyway, I wanted to touch base really quick and brush up a few things to get it out of the way, because I think it's important that you realize that there was a lot of good times and also not so good times in my childhood growing up. And right now we've been working on the years birth through 3. We're getting ready to move on here in a little bit to 3 years old to 6. But I still feel like I am a toddler sometimes. And for all you who might just have turned on and got to know me, I like to wear diapers sometimes. All kinds of reasons. You may think I'm a freak because of that, but it's okay. You can feel free to think that I'm a freak. Oh, anyway, at a very young age, I think it was recognized by my whole entire family. Remember, if you go back another video, or a couple videos, you will find out that while I was in New Bunker Hill, talking about relationships with my grandparents, I said that whole neighborhood, I felt that I was receiving judgment, a silent judgment. No one was really shouting things at me. They might have said something about my hair, or they called me names like sissy, or stop crying. They would make fun of me because I cried a lot, I told you. And, they might say things like, get your hair cut. Did I say that? Get your hair cut. I got harassed a lot by a lot of people about my long hair. Remember, Cher inspired me to have long hair. At that time, it was dark brunette. I like to color it. I love blonde hair. And we're getting deeper into that. But remember now, I got called a lot of names as I was little growing up. But right now, we're still around this era of where my parents are now separated, and I am torn apart with the separation of my two parents. My dad would pick us up, usually on a weekend, and we get the opportunity to share time with him. Now, there were some times as I was getting older and going through school that I really was not looking forward to sharing time with my dad. When I knew I did something that would upset him, I usually didn't want to share that time with him. I wanted to, but I was scared to. Did you ever feel like that? Did you ever feel scared to share time with a parent or a friend or relative? Somebody that you also loved and you looked up to? Well, I've been there. I've been there quite a few times. And my dad was one of them that I feared, but yet I still wanted to be with him. And I'll tell you why. I think as a child growing up, the people that we admire, if at any time they make us feel less than anybody else or looked down upon, then it kind of really affects us deeply, a lot deeper than if a stranger would say something to us. Because if a stranger says something to us, but the people that we admire, no matter who it is, says positive things about us, we say because in this case, my dad thinks differently, or my mother thinks differently, or my aunt or my sister says that I'm pretty. If somebody were to walk up to me right now and say, you are ugly, and I were to turn around and say, my sister says that I'm pretty, my mother says that I'm adorable and I'm funny, I'm really funny, that's the kind of response that we have. But now you're going through life and people are calling you names very similar to that which the people you admire and are closest to you in your life. All of a sudden you start to fall into an agreement with this very quickly. It is a graceful process, but over a period of time, years of hearing this stuff, you start to fall into agreement with it. At least I did. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you have an antivirus system built into your brain that says, I do not believe what other people tell me I am. I know what I am. And that's great. I'm very grateful to hear that. Share that. Tell me. I already know this, Tracilyn. Let's move on to something else. But maybe you're 90, maybe you're 5 years old. Okay? And maybe there's somebody in your life contaminating you by telling you who you are instead of celebrating who you are. Okay? I believe you're beautiful, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like. So, anyway, there was a time that I went over to a beach. Remember I told you my dad was a truck driver. On the weekends, he would take us places. He even took us places as far as Florida. We spent a lot of time down in Florida on a vacation a couple times, maybe once. But I think it was a couple times. And here's the thing. Check this out. We went to a beach. I'm not sure exactly which beach it was, but I remember a time we were walking down the boardwalk. And remember, I cry over everything. Maybe even to this day I do. You're gonna make fun of me. I'm a big crybaby. Do cry a lot. But that's who I am. That's how I got the name Goddess of Water. I was raised around water, as you can see. And I go to places with lots of water, and it brings me into a place of peace. It makes me feel connected to the entire universe. Okay? It makes me feel a peace and at wholeness with myself. Great place for me to think was here, and I would walk around this whole lake. There's trails, and I'll be walking around here today. I thought of putting up a tripod, but I want to keep things moving along, so I know you just see my head, and it's kind of hard, and I've noticed I look kind of distorted sometimes, and I don't really care for how I look on the side view, see? I kind of like it, this way, maybe? What do you think? You like this way? I like when I do it this way sometimes. And sometimes this way. What do you think? Lighting is everything. And so is angle. Okay, so I look a lot different in many different areas. I'm sure you do too. And my voice right now, it's very harsh. I've been staying somewhere where I need to run the humidifier continuously. And I have had vocal problems many times throughout my life. I never had the opportunity to really find out what's going on there. But I do know humidity matters. Humidity does matter to my voice. And it will sound very harsh. Unfortunately, I was raised around smoke, and I smoked a lot throughout my life. I would always encourage you, if you're smoking, stop. If you really enjoy it that much and you want to, I'm not going to judge you. But I've learned the hard way that is horrible, and it has a lot of consequences for people like myself that was saturated in it my whole life. So when I back away from people who smoke, know this, I'm not judging you, but I'm learning in life that we have to protect ourselves. And maybe you're only 6, maybe you're only 8 years old, and I don't want to stir up any trouble, but maybe there's somebody around you who smokes, or you're in a closed area. May I just say to you that it's okay to voice peacefully, in a graceful, loving way, that you'd rather not be around the smoke, and it's best to safely remove yourself from that atmosphere. Let me just leave it at that. I don't want to stir up any kind of trouble here, get anybody in trouble. Be careful how you do this. Approach it gracefully, okay? But again, we're getting off track here a little bit. But the bottom line is, we fall into agreement with the things that people say to us, especially the people that we admire the most in our life. In this case, in this situation, it was my father. So we went to the beach one day, and I don't remember exactly the details. Is that important, maybe? Do you think it is? I think it's important that I share the exact details. I don't know if it is or not. I got a lot to share, and I don't want to be stuck on one situation. And I don't want to hold on to it, because understand that just because certain things happen to me in my life does not mean that I didn't enjoy it overall. I'm learning in life that everything is what makes us who we are. So here we are, we're on the beach, walking down the boardwalk, and on the other side of the boardwalk is a big sand pile. For some reason, I don't remember why, I don't recall why, my dad picked me up and he told me more or less to stop whining, you sissy. And he took me and he threw me into the sand pile. Now understand, the way he picked me up and the way he threw me onto that sand pile, that scared me. It terrified me. And on top of it, he called me sissy in the process. Let me tell you something, I am a sissy. I'm not a sissy because he told me I am, but I'm a sissy in the world's eye. Because I cry and I fear a lot of things. But I'm realizing now at this time in my life that just like swimming, there's a reason why that's instilled in me. If I were to go out there, I may very well not come back. Okay, so I'm not going to be going out there today. Does that make me a sissy according to the world standards of who Tracilyn should be? Maybe so. And if that's okay, because I kind of joke around with that nowadays, and I kind of like, in a playful way, to be called sissy. Okay, it makes me laugh. I prefer to be treated like a lady. If you want to call me a sissy, it's okay. Okay, I won't be offended by that anymore, by my dad or anybody else. He would say words, excuse me for saying this to you right now, you might want to censor it out if you have a child with you, but he would say things like sissy, he would call me a puss, he would, he would do this in public places, okay? And it might be because we're at an amusement park, and we're getting ready to go on a roller coaster. And I remember, I'm scared of heights. I already realized this back at the playground. Remember, if you go back a few videos on my birth, or actually through the ages 3 through 6, I already figured out I am terrified of heights. There's something in me that says I don't want to go up high. And I was like that for my whole life. I still am. I still am that way. I don't really necessarily want to go up high. If I go up in a tall building, I look out, I kind of get sick in the stomach. It's not for me. It might be for you. You may love it. Do you love it? Let me know. Leave a message. So, that's something that I just want to bring apart. Now, understand, I love my dad. I forgive my dad. He may or may not have known the power of his words. It took me years. I'm 40, going to be 41 this month, and I only started to realize the power of words. We can lift people up, or we can throw them into a sand pile and make them want to bury their head like an ostrich. You know what an ostrich is? I'm going to hold the camera up this way for a while. I took notes, see? So, another thing is, there was a few times, didn't happen all the time. My dad was not abusive or anything like that. Some may say he was mentally abusive just because I said that, but please don't judge. Don't judge. There's good and bad in everybody, and overall, my dad was very good to me. And I always looked forward to sharing time with my dad and his new families. I gotta admit, there were times that I was jealous of the wives that he married, and I was jealous of the children that they had. I'm gonna hold it up here and see my arm's getting tired. I'm getting tired. But you know what? I realize now that it's hard to be torn between two different families, and there's jealousy and bitterness that rises throughout, and people have busy lives. He was a very busy man, worked all the time, and I'm proud of him for that. And I have total forgiveness and grace, and you know, I don't want to upset him, but I am going to share the details of my life because I believe that sharing my life is the best way that I can help you. So I'll take abuse from my own dad because I care enough about you, because I want to help you. I want to help you overcome things before you're 40 years old. Or maybe you're stuck in your way of thinking and it's destroying you and you're 155 years old. Maybe somewhere on this earth you got a hold of this message. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to say one more thing. A lot of you guys, if you go back into my other channel, which is Tracilyn Michael, you can check out tracilyn.com, and there you can link. I'm going to try to put this all together in a manner. There's links down below too. Let me double check. If you go into the original YouTube video, you can actually open up where it says about, and it'll show you a whole bunch of links. So you can get to know me on Facebook, talk to me on Facebook, humiliate me on Facebook. You can connect with me. I am not taking a whole lot of phone calls, so if you get onto my website, you will notice my cell phone number is there. I don't, right now, I do not even take any phone calls at all for any reason. Just because I want to really invest all my time and stay dedicated to what it is that I'm trying to reach out and do here. Okay, So with that being said, you will get to find out as you get to know me that I am a BDSM. I used to kind of be an adult entertainer, I guess you could say I was. And one of the things I've learned in the adult entertainment industry is flashing back to my youth. I actually enjoy being spanked, but spanked with love, care, and a reason behind it to help me to bring out, for somebody to help guide me into bringing out the best of me. The right direction for my life, not their idea of what I should be doing, but the right idea that's in alignment with my heart to move forward in life. So I do like to be spanked, okay? But at that time, in that day and age, let me just say that spanking, right here, this bottom, see it? Do you see it? Right here, the bottom, a big chunk there, that's not a bump on my butt. That is probably my car keys. So with that being said, when I went to my dad's a few times, maybe it was a report card, I didn't do too good in school. I didn't like school. I did not like school. We went over, me and my sister, and for whatever reason, we had to be spanked. It was not easy a process to go through, but he wanted to get it out of the way because he felt in his own idea of disciplining children. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or different. What do you think? Let yourself be free to think in all honesty. Be gentle. Remember, this is a man that I care about very deeply, despite any feelings he may have for me. Or if he heard this message, Dad, I'm sorry if it offends you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm sharing my life story, and we shared our life together, and a situation like this made me who I am, okay? It's part of what made me who I am. So I remember going back to that trailer that I showed you years throughout the young years of my life with my sister, and I remember when we would get punished for whatever reason, okay? I don't want to get too technical here. It could have been a report card. It could have been I was bad to my mother. I was smart to my sister or something like that. But there were times that I would go, and the thing was he used a belt on us, okay? And I remember watching my sister at times get smacked on the butt with the belt. It was not easy. And part of the punishment was for us to watch each other get smacked on the butt because it's somebody we love and we're seeing them be disciplined. And let me tell you, when they got smacked first on the butt, spanked, let me tell you something, your heart started racing. Did that ever happen to you? Your heart started racing because you knew it was coming. It's coming to you, okay? So then when you got your turn, let me just say, a belt across the butt, when you heard your dad rip the belt out of his jeans, smack your sister. It wasn't a pleasant feeling knowing you were going to be next. So, you know, these are ways that we were disciplined. I told you my grandmother used a wooden paddle. My dad used his belt, a leather belt. And now today, when I'm role-playing with people, adults, and I'm with a man and he pulls off his belt, I reflect back to that. Only this time it's more playful and I actually enjoy it. Okay, I actually enjoy that. Kind of weird, huh? Weird how things that traumatized us as kids or scared us, made us cry, now are fun to do with the people in our life that we love. Okay? So adult fun. I'm not encouraging you, please don't go out and do that to anybody. I'm not encouraging you to play around like that. Always be safe. All right, I'm just sharing with things that I've been through and how they affected me back then versus now, okay? I like to be spanked. My grandpa never really did, but my grandma used a big, long wooden paddle. My mom had a shorter one, and they all kind of did the same thing. We watched. Listen, this is a ways of back then. It wasn't just isolated in my family. This is the way people disciplined their children years ago. So I guarantee you, I had respect for my parents. I had respect for my grandparents. And when they spoke, I knew that I didn't want them to get that wooden paddle that they had hanging in the kitchen. I didn't want them to reach over and grab that from me. So I listened to them. Is it right or wrong? I don't know. I don't regret it. I'm grateful. I'm thankful I don't have to relive those years. I'm grateful there's nobody big and bad behind me now getting ready to grab me. However, if it was somebody who loved me, maybe my husband, maybe a man that I love and desire to share time with. Maybe I'd like him to playfully tackle me right now. Put me over this bench. Put me over this bench. Put me over this bench. And spank my bottom. I'd probably like that. So, that's just me. Okay, I'm a very open-minded individual. I hope you are, and I hope there's something to be learned in saying this. I just have to get this out of my system really quick. I wanted to go and let you know that some of the best times over at my grandparents' house that I was showing you yesterday happened in our basement, her basement. Remember I told you open up the garage, the basement door, and in there were cans of ravioli. And we ate a lot of ravioli in our family. And because it was such a big family, it was an easy thing to do for her. Quick throw it together on the stove. We loved it. We looked forward to it. We would eat our ravioli together as a family. Well, going down those steps, my mom grew up in that home with her brother. Her brother was a bass singer. There was quartets, a lot of gospel music singers and musicians within the family, the whole family at large. It was a big spiritual event for everyone. So my mom grew up down there. There was some old toys left behind, tricycles. I rode my first tricycle down in that basement. And there was like a pole that kind of held up the floor to the living room and the upper stairs, you know, the basement and the upper first level of the house. And we used to swing around it. I would twirl around this way. Oh, hold on, this way. Go around. And sometimes I'd go this way. Usually this way, I think it was. And there was roller skates. You ever roller skate? Roller skating was a big thing. You're gonna find that out. I don't want to get too stung up on this. But back in those days, you actually strapped the roller skates onto your shoes. And they were fun to use. Onto your shoes, and they were fun to use. I'm rhyming again, aren't I? Ain't I not? I don't know, is that right? So anyway, we would roller skate down there, and we would play all kinds of games in that house. And also there was a stereo down there. My uncle had a lot of albums through the groups that he was in. I guess he started in his teen years. They were outstanding. I'm sure you could still find some of his art online. Somebody had probably uploaded it. The Kinsel Brothers, the Centurions, he was in the Minutemen. I don't want to give away his name. You could find it out. He was a bass singer. I also looked up to him a lot. He was very handsome. My mom loved her brother very much. They went through a lot together. And, you know, let me just say, he was one Christian man that I really looked up to. And I used to often wish that he was my dad and that I lived in their family. Did you ever wish that somebody else that crossed paths in your life, that you lived with them and that they were your parents instead of maybe the parents you have? Somehow, weirdly, I wish that my mom and her brother were married and that he was my dad, or that their whole family, like we were connected, and we were connected. I'm not going to say it. I almost left it slip. I wanted to be a lot like my mom's brother, okay? Let's leave it at that. And I love their whole family. I hope they're doing well. And hopefully someday we'll get to cross paths again. Okay, so a lot of the people in that family, you'll find out that like my older cousin on that side, his older son, a lot of people admired him a lot for whatever reason. And a lot of us wanted to be like him. And he, like I said, he had strong Christian values. So much different than kind of the energy feeling that I would get in the neighborhood that I would go to visit my grandparents in this house that we had a lot of good times. Something else that we used to do, of course, let me see. Oh, we would go to church. We would go to church on a Sunday to a place called Mount Airy, which I wish I had time to take you up there. It's a little white church at that time. And it's the first church when I was 5. I think I was 5, this many, right here. The whole palm of my hand and my thumb. See my little thumb? It's the first church. My grandmother would always encourage me to sing. She loved my voice. She's one of the few people in my life that made me feel good about that, you know. And she was one of the first to ever get me out in front of a group of people and sing. And it was at that church, Mount Airy. Look it up, check it out. Someday maybe I'll get to go back there. I always wanted to go back there and kind of peek through the windows. If it's still standing, is it still standing? Check it out. Please let me know. Let me know. Does that church even stand? Do you have memories of going to Mount Airy, a little white church? Let me just say that there's probably only 15 people at the most that went there when I went there. They even had outhouses then. We actually used to have to go to the bathroom in outhouses, but not like the outhouses that you see at carnivals and stuff today. I mean, these were the old wood sheds where years ago, remember I said about spanking? Parents would actually, and family members would take children to the woodshed. That was scary. You never wanted to go to the woodshed. I never went to the woodshed, but I heard stories about this from elders before me. They went to the woodshed and they got the stick. They called it the switch. And I'll tell you what, they got to privately go into a woodshed, not humiliated in front of people, but to the woodshed, everybody, the children would cry because their brother or their sister was going to the woodshed with their uncle or with their grandpa or with their dad or their mom. And they would be disciplined. They would be spanked with a stick. Yes, could you imagine that? I didn't have to go through that. It was either the leather belt or a wooden paddle. And it was all my family. It was either my dad with a leather belt, it was my mom with a little wood paddle. My mom was always gentle to me. My grandparents and stuff, they didn't really hold back much. They treated everybody the same. And my grandma had a bigger one, okay? I don't really remember my grandfather ever really giving us a spanking, but he might have. And, you know, it was one of those things with the role where if the woman did it, the woman had more grace and mercy, usually, with the children. So you knew the discipline wasn't going to be as bad, but if it was something you really did that was wrong, oh my God, then you knew that the male figure was going to come in, and he wasn't going to have mercy. So you had to be good, or if you were bad, be bad little. That way only mommy or grandma spanks you. You don't want dad or grandpa or your uncle to spank you, especially because you look up to them, you know. So with that being said, Mount Airy Church is the first place I got to sing when I was 5. Let me see. What you were singing. I'm reading my notes right now. See? Here we go. I explained to you about the jealousy that occurred through having a step family and stuff, and I'm over that all now, and I have no grudges, and I hope they have no grudges. I hope they have a great life, especially my dad. I don't know what he's been up to here lately. I'm not really much in touch with my family here in Pennsylvania anymore, and I'll explain a little bit about that as we go on. I wanted to touch base and let you know, because as I'm going on and talking, I mentioned about me being transgendered. A lot of people are unclear. It's not clear fully what transgendered is yet. Maybe you guys are finding out information because you're doing research, or maybe you are transgendered. Maybe you are and you don't even know it. Well, I'm here to help you through the process, okay? To my idea, anyway. I care about you. Maybe you just know somebody. Maybe you met somebody. Maybe you have a friend online. You want to get to know more about her because you're attracted to her. Okay? I think that's great. I hope you are attracted to her. And I hope you are a friend. Or maybe you are one. And instead of hanging your head in shame, you're being very proud. And you're going to school, or you're living your life going to work, being yourself. But it was important for me that I let you know that this all started at an early age. Remember I was telling you at the first house, between the ages of birth, or the ages of 3 to 6, is when I first started wearing makeup. But between birth and 3 is when I first started looking at Sharon, saying I wanted really long hair. And I have ever since then. My mom left me have the freedom to have long hair. That's what I wanted. That's what I got. And let me tell you, I got a lot of grief for that throughout my whole life. Everywhere I went, everybody kept saying, oh, you have such a beautiful little girl. And you're saying, well, what do you mean? I thought you were a girl. Well, I am a girl. Okay, a unique girl. And I'm going to share with you, and by the way, I'm not just a girl, I'm a lady. There's a big difference there, and I'm going to share that with you too. So here we go. As we're going through life, people are starting to tell my mom what a beautiful young lady you have, and she's getting defensive over it and saying, it's not a girl, it's a boy. It's my son. It's my son. And I'll explain more to this. I'm just getting the wheels turning here a little bit. So just understand, there's a lot of confusion going on as to, is Tracilyn a girl or is she a boy? And I even get asked that on YouTube sometimes. Are you a boy or girl? You know? if you're a girl, you sure do look like a man. And if you're a man, you sure do look like a girl. You're confusing me, Tracilyn. What are you? Can we just let it rest and just say, I'm gonna get the opportunity to explain to you, okay? How about if I just give you permission to perceive me however you want to? How about that? How about that? How about if I just sit back, relax, and I let you make that call? Or we can move on to other things that are, or maybe not more important, but I want to keep the process moving because we're going to stumble into that. We're going to talk about that for a while. So, but it's really important. So the share with the hair, before I was even 3, you know, toddler, I want long hair. I want long hair like Cher, like Cher. I want long hair like Cher. I want to be skinny like Cher. You know, I want to be singing like Cher. Okay? So here we go. In that house, between the ages of 3 and 6, before I'm even in school, I'm trying on makeup. I'm scared. I'm hiding in the bathroom. Don't want nobody to find me because what will they think? I didn't know anything about being gay at that time. I just didn't want to be caught. I would be in trouble. I don't want to be spanked. Back then I didn't want to be spanked. Now I want to be spanked. Now I want to be caught in the bathroom putting on makeup and have the man of my dreams walk in and say, you've been a very naughty girl. Or sissy. You can call me sissy. Just him, not you. Don't call me that sissy. It's okay if you do. So anyway, with that being said, in that house, I don't even know if my family knows this, so I'm going to say it. I'm guilty. When my family would go to school, I would root through my sister's panty drawers, and I would try on their panties. And I felt so good. I felt so happy. I don't know why I felt happy. Did you ever try on girls' panties and for no reason you really felt happy? It just felt good. Listen, I'm not here to judge you. You don't have to tell anyone. We can keep this between you and me, okay? You don't have to leave a comment. Don't tell me about it unless you want to. Share, did you? But when I put on girl panties back then, I felt good, but I was scared. Is somebody gonna catch me? What about this duck? Is this duck down here? Is that duck down there? Is that duck down there gonna see me and go narc me out? That was a big thing, narc. Do you still say the word narc? Well, back then we did. Don't narc on me, you know? Don't go tell people what you just saw. Don't go tell mom and dad, basically. Don't narc me out. Don't get me in trouble. Is that ducky gonna go around and tell all the other ducks and all the other people here that Tracilyn was in snooping through her sister's panty drawers and putting them on even as a toddler? Okay, and I also used to do that to my mother. Remember I told you I used to walk around the house in her disco shoes, but I was kind of entertaining the family. And I wish I could show you how I did it. And I'm sure you've seen other children do this. It's funny. So I used to love doing that. I loved dressing like a lady. I really did. At that young age, I wanted to be a lady. Like Cher, like my mother, like Olivia Newton-John. Maybe not at that time yet. I'm not sure when I started to see Grease. It was in the 80s or late 70s. I'm not sure. Check it out. Everybody saw Grease, right? You saw Grease. If you didn't see Grease, how about go somewhere and seek it out and watch it? I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. I'm saying go check it out. Go watch it. Netflix, I'm sure, has it, right? If they don't, write them. Tell them they need to get Grease on immediately because that's one of the finest movies of all times. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, about love, about the pressures of life and friends, you know, and happy endings, which I hope we all have at some time in our life. So, okay, so that's where that started at, wearing women's clothing. Let's leave it at that. And I will explain more as time goes on. So, let me look at my notes here really quick. Okay, and I already told you, let's stay on the same subject. Later years in that same house, my brother was dating a girl. She was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, a work of art. Everybody knew it. She knew it. And my brother was very fortunate to have her in his life at that time. Well, even her clothing. I would get into her dirty laundry and I would wear her clothing, whether it be shorts. She had satin shorts or she had panties and I wanted to try them on because I wanted to look just like her. Okay, it wasn't that I was being some people would mistaken that and say, Tracilyn, you're such a pervert. You are so dirty. You deserve to have your dad crack your butt with that belt. Right now. Right here, right now. Or maybe the girl's panties that I was wearing, maybe she's thinking, I'm gonna come find you and I'm gonna smack you with my belt. Okay, so with that being said, I've done a lot of things in that house, and maybe that whole energy as a child growing up, that happened at my grandparents' house, by the way. But maybe the energy of everything that happened in that house, that's why I keep going back to there, or I did at one time. I keep going back there. That was the foundation of who Tracilyn was becoming today. Okay, who I was becoming today. And I love who I am today, by the way. And I look back on those days and I'm very grateful, even for the spankings. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Grandma. And thank you, Grandpa. And thank you for all those who didn't spank me, okay? Because then I had somewhere to run to for coverage. And I'm sorry for my sister who had to go through it with me, but I'm glad that we got to share it together. What do you say? I'm glad I got to share those moments of being disciplined with you, with all you guys, my brother and my two sisters. I'm glad that we went through those times together. They were only hard in our head, but let's just face it, it made us who we are, and if we love who we are now, that's all that matters. Oh, let me see. Oh, you know, back in that house, something pretty disgusting here that you're gonna know about me, right? I'm a weirdo, I'm a freak. I wanna continue to walk around here. I'm gonna go up here and get my water. I'm a weirdo, kind of freaky. And I used to do a lot of stupid things when I was a kid. Up here we go. So one of the things we used to do was, as a kid, did you ever pick your nose? Did you ever pick your nose? Look up here. Is there anything up here right now? Is it dirty? Did you ever pick your nose and get like a boogie? Is that what they call it? You got snot, all that dirt, all that slimy stuff. Like on Ghostbusters. Did you ever roll it up in a ball? Well, some people used to wipe it on walls, okay? We won't mention any names here. And some people, like Tracilyn, used to roll them in balls. And when she would do that, she shared a room with her brother. And sometimes when the lights were off, there would be a boogie fight. As I said it, a boogie fight. He might not appreciate that I mentioned that, but let's just say that I got my butt whooped a couple times because I was throwing boogies across the room. And I got my brother. Did you ever do anything crazy like that? I think I got one out. Oh, I don't want to be picking my nose on camera, but hey, what do I care? I'm a freak. I'm an outcast, an outsider sometimes, you know? I'm as natural as they come, baby. So check this out. Did you ever do that to your family member? Did you ever pick your nose? I'm not encouraging that, please. Please don't go do that. They may hunt me down and say, why are you teaching my kid to pick nose and throw boogies at mommy and daddy? Okay, don't do that. Don't do it. No, don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Because they're gonna hunt me down. They're gonna find out I was the last one you watched before that happened. Or maybe you're 90 years old and you say, you know what? I never had a boogie fight, but I'm pretty ticked in life. I'm ticked at the way things went in my life, and I'm frustrated. I'm gonna roll me up a whole bag of boogies, and I'm gonna go down and bombard the whole neighborhood. Instead of a snow fight, we had boogie fights. We did that several times throughout our life, and people used to wipe them behind posters and on the walls of our house. Okay, so now that's out in the open. You know some dirt on me. Did you ever do anything like that? Leave me a message. Leave me a message. Right here in this video. You don't have to go anywhere else. Leave a message. I'm being real. I'm not holding back. I'm going to share everything with you. I want to share my life. I'm not ashamed of anything. You might want me to be ashamed. There's quite a few people that want me to shut my mouth, maybe. Maybe somebody who really likes me. Maybe they're like, I wish Tracilyn wouldn't do that. But I am who I am, and I love who I am. So I had a boogie fight. Let's get on. Let's move on. What do you say? It's not the sexiest thing that guys want to hear about a lady. and who I was and who I am are not the same thing. These are things that I went through in my childhood. But let's see if we can eliminate this paper really quick. Again, we're here at Memorial Lake. I'm just spinning around and talking to you. You can see beautiful water in the back. We were hoping that ducky ain't gonna go around spreading rumors about me, okay? Don't spread any rumors about anybody. And I was telling you about a lot of the other things I wanted to touch base with, okay? Because these are things that made me who I am, and I really love who I am. We had some amazing Christmases. Maybe someday I'll touch base with that. But I'm realizing that this is going to take a lot of time for everybody if they want to actually watch these videos and get to know who I am. And I'm sorry about that. Maybe someday, I don't apologize. This is something I wanted to do. How about this? I'm not sorry. It's what I wanted to do. And I watch these videos and I'm learning a lot about myself. And in the process of it all, my hope is that I can help you. It's not that it's my hope. I know I can. I know if you give me a chance to be your friend, I'm going to be able to help you. And I'm confident that anything you share with me is going to benefit my life and make it richer. Even if it's an insult, let it out. You know one thing I've learned over the last year? Get the anger out of your heart. Cry. Get mad. Do something creative. And get mad. Let it out. Let the poison out. Leave a comment. Do you like to write? Leave a comment down below this video. Insult me, if you will. Am I the boogie monster? You're going to have dreams, and I'm going to come to you in your dreams, and I'm going to be throwing boogies at you, and you're going to run down to your mom and dad, and you're going to tell them, Tracilyn is throwing boogies at me. And they're going to be like, who's this Tracilyn? She's the boogie monster. And what do boogie monsters do? Boogie monsters throw boogies. And they wipe them everywhere, like on the Ghostbusters. Did you ever see that? And the guys get covered with all of this goo. Let's move on. Here we go. We got a smaller list here, you see? If you get to know me by clicking on the links down below and checking out some of my other videos, you're going to find out that I am a huge Elvis fan, but as well I have a history with Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was the ultimate country singer for me as a child growing up. And I often reflected back on my grandfather while listening. Not anymore, I don't necessarily, I am right now. But often in times, I didn't really like country music. When I was little growing up, my grandfather listened to it a lot. My grandma listened to more of the gospel quartet kind of music, and old Christian contemporary music, if you will. But my grandfather listened to old country. So that's why I was exposed, and my mother did as well. With that being said, Johnny Cash was on the radio, and you didn't turn his radio dial. They had 8 tracks back in the day. You know what an 8 track is? Do you have any idea? Look it up. Check it out while you can. You have time. You can listen to my voice while you're cleaning. You can listen to my voice while you're doing anything around the house. Maybe you're working on a car in a garage. Maybe you're working on a project. Whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're spending time at a lake. You're spending time at a lake. How about we don't say spending time, we say sharing time. You're sharing time with yourself at a lake. Johnny Cash was the deal. Okay, so Walk the Line, I remember Ring of Fire, and I was kind of scared of Johnny Cash. It was amazing some of the things in the world that people were kind of instilling in my mind about Johnny Cash, you know? So, but my grandfather kind of introduced me to country music, as well as my mother, and Johnny Cash was a big thing. And let me tell you, especially now as I grew older, I really have a strong appreciation for Johnny Cash. Very much, and you will find that out. So, with that being said, Tracilyn loves Johnny Cash and the King of Rock and Roll, okay? And the Bee Gees, right? I told you about the basement. Over in the driveway, if you look back on the film when I was showing my grandparents' house, they have a stone driveway that separated the house into my great-grandma, who was at that time in my life, she was in her 80s. You have anybody in your family that's in their 80s? I forget how old she was when she transitioned on. What she became, I'm not sure at this time. Did she go to heaven up there? Did she go to heaven up there? Did she go to heaven way up there? Wherever all the angels are looking down? God is always up there. Did you notice people always say God's up there? And he's looking down right now and he's not happy. Why is it always a he? Why is it always he's not happy? Is it because we were taught that it's a he? You know, Christian literature will tell you that it's a he. And he should be leaders, you know. I believe a lot of what was written is not in alignment with the absolute truth. I believe it's an illusion of somebody else's idea that was tossed down to other ideas, This is what I believe. Is this upsetting you? Are you saying, did I end up clicking on to a preacher lady, a satanic preacher lady, who has this problem with Christianity? I'll tell you this right now, yes I do. I do have a problem with Christianity. I do have a problem with religion. I have a problem with religious leaders. Because what I've realized is their idea of life, their idea of how Tracilyn should be living has been contaminated. Okay, my idea of life was contaminated by things passed on by our ancestors down to where Tracilyn is now. Things are changing. They're changing at a rapid pace. People are beginning to wake up and people are beginning to realize that we have all been oppressed our whole life. We have been told we can't wear girl panties if you're born a boy. We're told that it is wrong for you. It is wrong for you to live freely in respect with other people. It's wrong for you to have long hair if you're a boy. You can't be pretty, you can't wear dresses. And all this is really based on and really thrived on through religion. Through religion. I don't want to ride that too much. You're going to find out what I'm talking about there. I don't want to get too thrown off. Leave a comment. Are you upset that I just said that? It's okay. It's okay. Get upset. Get upset. Get the fire going. Get mad. All right? Share with me your anger. But know this. I have forgiveness, and it's okay. I love all the religious leaders for who they are, for they have also made me who I am today. So thank you, religious leaders. Thank you, our ancestors, because we're all still learning, aren't we? We're learning at a rapid rate now. Things are happening very quickly. People are beginning to wake up and realize how free we are. We're a lot more freer than we've been told. A lot of times people want to take that freedom away from us here. I don't know about you, but the freedom that I have now is a lot healthier than the freedom I used to have. But I also see how it's been closing in my whole life, trying to trap me in behind a computer screen. And look at me, here I am. It wasn't trying to hold me behind a computer screen, it was trying to get me into yours. So we could get to know each other a little bit. So does Tracilyn have a problem with religious leaders and the leaders of years ago, the ancestors? Yes. Yes. Because their ideas of life was spread throughout the country, through media, through other leaders that had similar beliefs, and it was brought down generation to generation to generation, and that's how we became. But now this generation is starting to turn around, and it's saying we are not what we've been told we are. We are much more than that. And it's okay for boys to have long hair. It's okay for boys to date and kiss boys. It's okay for girls to fall in love with girls. Okay? We'll move on to there. I know you're kind of stirred up right now. Maybe you're on fire. You're like, yes, I finally found somebody who gets it. I finally found somebody who's talking about God openly and gets it. You know, I've been struggling with this my whole life, and now I found somebody who really gets it. Well, if you feel that way, then let it out. Let that out. Share your message with me. Share your life with me, please. Please. Please share your life with me. I don't know all the answers. I have my own idea. I could be totally wrong. In fact, I believe I am. What do you think of that? I don't know if I'm right or wrong. It doesn't matter because I'm happy. Look at me. I smile all the time almost. Sometimes when I get serious, though, I don't. Sometimes I cry. But then I remember who I am. Okay? So we have been taught our ideas of our parents. Parents have taught our parents. And it goes on from there. Everything's getting better, healthier, People are experiencing freedom today like they never did. It's a mental freedom, though. It's not a physical freedom. It is a mental freedom. Okay? That's why I'm here. I'm here to free the mind. So check this out. I skinned my knee playing football one day. Remember, I was always kind of the sissy, and my brothers and my cousins, we used to play Nerf football, and I rarely wanted to get the ball because I would be chased, and I was never fast enough to get away from everybody. Very rarely did I make it to the finish line, or what do you call that? What do you call that when you're taking a football to a line? Is it the finish line? Is it, I don't know what it's called. I call it the finish line because I love racing. So tell me what it is. What is that? Is it a goal? Is that a goal? No, that's a hockey, isn't it? Hockey. So check this out. Figure it out. But I skinned my knee. And back in the day, when you had a skinned knee, you would go running into whoever was taking care of you at the time. At this time, it was my grandma. And that's who we ran to when we had a skinned knee or something happened outside. And she put methylate on. Do you know what methylate is? Woo-wee! It's red, isn't it? And let me tell you something. When you put that across your knee, or any bruise, ooh, does that burn? It burns, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It burns a lot. So, I remember that was my first serious injury. My first serious injury. I didn't play football too much. It kind of made me withdraw, and I knew that I wanted to cheer people on. So I would stand on the sideline, and I would cheer on my cousins and my brothers, my sisters, and it was just outstanding. When friends would come up, I would kind of be jealous because like some of my friends, like I told you about my cousin, he would jump in the game and play. And meanwhile, I want to stay on the sideline and kind of cheer everybody on, and I was scared. I was jealous because I didn't have the ability to do what they were doing. Or so I thought. Remember, I'm still learning. I don't know everything. And just because I say something doesn't mean it's real, doesn't mean it's true. It could be an illusion. I'm not trying to distract you or to anger you. I'm trying to ignite a fire in you. I want to learn. Maybe you have a lot to teach me. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, just by sharing your life, your opinions on things. Doesn't mean it's right. Let's just open our minds that if somebody says, you know what, I have a problem with some of the religious leaders or the leaders of the country or leaders of the world. We have a couple problems here about how we've been oppressed and it's been passed down, and we're starting to realize what has been going on. Because let me tell you something. If you believe what you're told and you perceive it as negative, you're going to be down here on the ground. However, if you have people cheering you on and lifting you up, you're going to be way up there in the heavens. In the heavens where He is, where God is, where He is, and the angels are singing, and the stairway to heaven ends, right? Up in heaven, way up there. It's always way up there. It's never down there, because down there, we're taught, is where the devil lives. The devil. The fiery pit. Really, it's my burn barrel back at the trailer. I'd like to meet the devil. What do you think of that? Because we are taught, in my Christian community, that the devil is the god of the earth. He's been given permission to rule the earth until God's second coming. What do you think of that? God's second coming. It's very magical, you know. 2 is a magical number. I'll explain that a little bit later, another time. We don't have a whole lot of time. I'm wasting a lot of time here, aren't I? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm stirring you up right now. I want you to listen. I want to ignite that fire in you and get you questioning things in your own mind. Let me tell you something. You are not what people tell you you are. And it is okay if you're a boy and you're wearing your sister's panties, but make sure you ask. Or maybe somehow get your own. Don't steal them. But be honest. If you want to wear panties, wear panties. Okay? If you're a boy. Maybe you're not as much as a boy as you've been told you are. You've just been told you're a boy. You know? And let's face it. Everybody has a different idea of what a lady and a gentleman is. There's a big difference from a boy, girl, a woman, a man, and a lady and a gentleman. I'm looking for the gentleman in my life. Maybe to have a boogie fight with. Disgusting, huh? That's pretty disgusting, isn't it? I'm just kidding. I don't want to have a boogie fight with my husband. If he did, I would have to tackle him right here on the ground. I would tackle him onto the ground. Yes. And I would wrestle him and I would win and be victorious. What do you think of that? Think I could? Probably not. No, I'm not that strong, really. I don't like to fight either. I like to play. And I don't like when I'm around guys who let me win. You know, you just let me win. Just let me win once in a while, you know? And they're gentle with me. I like people to be gentle with me. Will you be gentle with me, please? So check this out. We're bouncing all over the place. One of the things I used to love doing, and we're gonna wrap this up right now, is going downstairs to the freezer in the basement at my grandparents' house. There was fudge sickles down there. Remember, fudge sickles reminded me, if I have not told you, it reminded me of my other grandpa who was the ice cream man. And throughout his life, he started off with a chip and pretzel business. It started being ice cream, went door to door. Amazing stuff happened in my relationship with him. I admire him a great deal. To this day, he was the first Christian I ever met in my life that just seriously, to my day, is a standard that I want to live up to. He was a person of integrity. He was a business person. He did what he was passionate about in life, and he did it all day long. That's what I want to do. I want to do what I'm passionate about in life all day long. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to offend people. I'm just getting out some of the poison, some of the ideas that are in my head. I could be right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, am I saying religious leaders are bad? No. Okay? Am I saying that we should... is there any other thing that I'm saying about that? No. What I am saying, and I'm stuttering here a little bit, because I'm going to tell you why. Because I have some problems with a few that I've crossed paths with, because I've learned the hard way that a lot of what they were teaching me was lies. And I'm going to just tell you an idea to give you something to think about as you get to know me, is we're taught separation. I mentioned this before, but we're not separate. We're not separate. We are all in one. The same. Okay, we're the same energy source. We have different forms of trees. Everything that you see around you is all connected, but we're taught division. We're slapped labels, boy, girl. This is what a boy looks like. This is what a girl looks like. This is what a teacher looks like. This is the example that we should be living by. But we all have different ideas of how we should be living our life. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of other things that I will share with you that I learned on the street are not true to the teachings and your standards of a church building down the street. If a church is telling you that if you're in need of something, you're supposed to give that, then maybe you need to give in that area. Know right away that that's a lie and it's wrong. Because they'll tell you if you want grace, then give grace. That's not true. They'll tell you if you need money, then give money. And I'm here to tell you, is it possible that they want your money and that's why they're telling you that? I don't know. Is it? Is it? Because I often wondered that. Because when I was on the street, or when I'm on the street playing, or I'm offering my services, my talents to the world around me, I'm finding out that when I'm singing a song on a street corner, that people aren't stopping by and singing. Some people do. Some people will say, can I sing with you? Sometimes people are giving me a hug. Sometimes people are giving me a kiss. Sometimes people are giving me money. Sometimes people are giving me food. Sometimes people are giving me drink. Sometimes people are giving me a smile. And sometimes people are giving me a mean look. What are you doing here? Okay? Sometimes. But never have I ever witnessed an increase of my finances because I gave somebody finances. Never. So if somebody has brainwashed you to believe that, and maybe you're going through life and you're convinced that that's the way it works, I hope it does for you. But I'm here to tell you that I have realized I will never willingly just give money to an organization who's teaching me that in return that I should be giving them finances because there's going to be an increase in my life. Because when we need mercy, we're supposed to give mercy. Nope. It's not like that. We pay things forward. And when we're taught division, we're not under the understanding that when I give to this person, we call this paying it forward. That good fortune is going to come back in a time that we need. This person needed something, whatever it is, mercy. Let's just say mercy. Needed our mercy, forgiveness. I forgive you for insulting me, okay? I forgive you for calling me a sissy, okay? But maybe we're gonna walk up here later on because we forgave that person and I'm accidentally gonna say something that I didn't mean, you know, or maybe I did mean it. Maybe I was just mad. Sometimes we mess up and we're mad and we say things we later regret, obviously. Am I gonna regret saying anything here? There's a chance, maybe because somebody perceived it wrongly. And I'm sorry for that. But so over here, we come and maybe I do something that I either don't mean to do or maybe I did in the time and then I later regret it, or maybe I never regret it, but that person taught me a lesson, okay? So maybe they give me mercy, or maybe I am dying of thirst. Right now I need a drink, and maybe they give me a drink, and I'm not realizing that because I gave that person forgiveness, this person gave me a drink. And really what it is our needs are being met continuously if we acknowledge it. And let me tell you, I'm not a master at this because I'm still learning. Are you learning that this is true, that we're all one and we are all connected? We're not divided up amongst ourselves. It's just that what we've been taught, we've been tricked, we've been deceived into believing, okay, that unless we have acceptance for this magical God from the heavens, came down here in human form, sacrificed himself. And if you study Christian literature, you will find out that he was everything. God is everything, right? But he came down in human form, right? And then that would make it that he sacrificed himself through other people. That unless we believe that, we are not free and we're going to burn in hell. Have you ever been taught that? I'm here to tell you that's not true. Oh, this is a touchy subject here. This is going to stir up some fire down in hell, isn't it? Because the devil down in hell, he's excited that I'm up here sharing this with you right now, isn't he? But I'm here to tell you much differently. Okay? Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Let's just give me room to share. Share. It's okay. I know a lot of people right now, they may be clicking it off. I don't want to hear this message. I don't want to hear what you're talking about, Tracilyn. Okay, I don't want to be contaminated with your beliefs. It's okay, turn me off. Turn me off. It's okay, click it off. You're going to want to come back. You're going to want to come back because you're seeking like I'm seeking. We're all seeking right now. Okay, but we're waking up. We're waking up. You're waking up right now. There's a peace, there's a calm. You're scratching your head maybe. You're tensing up a little bit. You're biting your lip. You want to let me know what's on your mind. Okay? We all went through judgment. We all went through the questioning as to whether or not this Jesus was real. I've been brainwashed to believe that he was. Is he? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know, but I've been brainwashed to believe that. And I've been brainwashed to believe that God came from the heavens, wherever that is, up there somewhere, into a human form known as Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ came to preach a message. He came here to have himself sacrificed for all mankind years ago. Is it 2013 years ago? I don't know. I don't know what it is. And in that process, for anyone who believes, you are saved. Well, if you're brainwashed to believe that Jesus existed, I would assume that you probably believe. Well, then you're free. Then why aren't you living your life and being true to who you are? Why are you living, and I would ask myself this too, why was I living if I believed in Jesus everybody else's idea of what I should be doing in my life? The Christian leaders, because I was raised in a Christian community. All my life I went to Christian churches, and I've studied Catholic, I studied Buddhism, I studied all different kinds of religion. But when it comes down to Christianity, that was a heavy one that was influenced upon me. Then why ain't I living a life of freedom and joy, peace and happiness? Why am I still suffering inside? Jesus died for everyone, then that means he died for me. Did he die for me except for I have to get my hair cut? Except for I have to remove every sin in my life of people's idea of what sin is. Because we're taught everything. This is what I come to the conclusion. Everything I enjoy in life is a sin. It's a sin. It's a sin for me to be in love with very hot, powerful Italian men. I do like all men. Men in their 50s. We'll get down to that later. Okay? Taught that if I wear women's clothing, if I was born a boy, after being told that I was a boy, by a body part, mind you, that is a sin. Then it's a sin for me, if I'm a boy, to like another boy, to kiss another boy, to engage in intimacy before being married. And this goes on and on and on. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to share with you my life. I'm just stirring up the soup a little bit. I'm gonna let it simmer for a while. These are questions that I constantly have, and let me just say, I don't care about anymore. I don't care about. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even care if Jesus Christ came, sacrificed himself, and he's gone. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't care. Because I've been brainwashed to believe it. Doesn't mean it's true. I wasn't alive 2,000 years ago. I wasn't there to see it, yes, with my own eyes. So believing, and I'm learning this, believing what people are telling you and going through your life, living up to what they are telling you, can totally destroy you. It can totally destroy you. And it will rob you of enjoyment. And it will steer you away and separate you from everything that you are and everything that you love. So, I'm sorry if you're hurt and you did like Tracilyn up until this point. I love all people. I love the religious leaders. I love Jesus. I love Santa Claus. I love the Easter Bunny. I love the Lucky Charms guy, you know, the leprechaun, okay? I love short people. I love tall people. I love dark-skinned people and white-skinned people. I love all people. Okay, I love my brothers, I love my sisters, I love the people who gave me a hard time, I love the people who gave me the best of times, okay? Because they all did, because I love who I am. But here's the thing, check this out. These are things that I've questioned for a long time, for a very long time. And I don't want you to believe what I believe because I believe it. I want you to rethink. You might have to unlearn what you've been taught and be opened to just taking time by a water in a quiet place, looking around, being still and being quiet. Something tells me you'll realize some of what I told you is true. Maybe not all of it, some of it. Everything's transitioning now. It's fall. The leaves are changing color. They're falling to the ground. You think we never see those leaves again? Animals. You ever see a dead animal along the road? Do you ever see another animal in the process feeding off that animal? What do you think about that? Huh? What do you think about all this? What do you think about the idea we're transitioning continually? You think anything ever dies? I don't know myself. I never died. I died a spiritual death, maybe. You know? I may have died. I don't realize it. I remember talking to a professional doctor about the possibilities that I once was an Indian girl. You know, I might explain that someday. I also believe that I was once a wolf. What do you think of? Maybe we're never alone. Maybe there's always someone with us. Maybe that someone is ourselves. Maybe that's what's most important. I don't know. I'm just questioning, maybe. Possibilities. I may have said too much. I hope I didn't. Because I'm kind of babbling on right now. And I want to stay focused on my life journey. The different things that occurred and happened to me. But I will let you know that Christianity was the dominating force that oppressed me. And it took me the last year and a half to realize that. Yes, it did. And I didn't know how to handle it. I was very angry. Never been so angry in all my 40 years of life. Was it because Tracilyn didn't get it? She didn't understand, that Jesus died for her and she can just be free of people's ideas, society's idea of how we should be living? Understand, I say live and let live, peacefully and in love. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything freely to go and hurt other people. Okay, that's wrong. That is wrong. You want to live peacefully, and if you take time to sit here and watch what is going on just in nature, you can see, you can learn. I want you to learn. Take time to learn. All right, don't always believe everyone around you is what I'm saying. Just because somebody's in a certain position, please, even myself, don't fall into agreement with them. Honey, listen to me right now. Have respect for your elders. Have respect for all mankind. Women, men, whatever, animals, life, trees, property, cars, respect for everything. But in the same token, be careful of falling into agreement with others. Kind of like that neighborhood back at my grandparents'. Some people say there's been changes, but I already showed you on camera that is not fully true. There has been changes. But as well, some things will never change because the force of energy that is dominant within that structure, whether it's a neighborhood, a city, a town, a state, it could take centuries, years for it to transition along with the times. I've seen a lot of familiar faces in that neighborhood. And I'm not going to go in and talk about anybody else's life. But I showed you that there's people snooping outside their curtains because it's not normal anymore, anywhere, really, except for maybe big cities, for people to be walking around with a camera, talking to it, or talking to themselves. We've been taught talking to yourself is wrong. But I'm here to tell you, talking to yourself is right. It really is right. You should be willing to talk to yourself. And they say, well, if you answer back, then we got a problem. We all talk to ourselves. No. I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you want to talk to yourself. And it's okay if you want to answer back. And it's okay for you to get mad. It's okay for you to express yourself peacefully. You don't want to hurt anybody. So, I hope right now you don't want to hurt me. I hope you give me an opportunity to share my message with you, my life with you, and teach me, share with me your life, and don't hold back. Leave a comment. We're here at Memorial Lake, back at Fort Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania. This is a place that I had a great deal of respect for the military at one time. A great deal of respect. That's a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. But let me just say, sometimes I wonder about things that I admired, And I'm realizing that the masses of people in a community can be oppressed by the ideas of others. Sometimes, I don't want to say it like this, but sometimes maybe they're more aware of the power that they hold over a group of people or a person, which I will share with you, or a person, manipulate their mind, especially when a lot of people gang up on that person or group of people. And the power of their words, when they speak, they oppress them, and when people are oppressed, they submit themselves to what they believe to be true, and therefore they walk like this. Can I show you? Let me show you. You can see my feet. They walk a very fine line, don't they? They walk a very fine line. I missed out on a lot of opportunities in life because I was walking a fine line. I had a lot of fear in my life. I was oppressed by just about everybody, but it's not everybody's fault. It's my fault. I gotta take the blame. Here, we take the blame. We take the blame. We take the blame. We take the blame. I take the blame for me, you take the blame for you. We're all learning, and let's just say we have forgiveness for ourselves. I forgive myself, and may I never fall under the idea of how I should be living my life anymore. Okay? If I'm doing it respectfully and in love, what does it matter? What does it matter if I wear panties? And I'm gonna say, what about you? What about you? What about you, sir, or ma'am, or kitty cat, or dog, or giraffe, or monkey? What about you? So I'll tell you right now, you get to know who I am, you're gonna find out that I am not your idea of how a human being should be living their life. But maybe you'll be inspired to live your own life instead of the life people are telling you to live. I got a lot to share, a lot to share. Let me just say, I gotta go through life and share one day at a time, the years, and I gotta walk fastly. Today I took more time to share about things that maybe I shouldn't have at this time. Okay, maybe I should have waited till I got up in age and I started realizing a lot of things. But I got a lot on my mind that I'm still trying to breathe out. Some people will say this is the wrong way to go about it, but I'm saying I want to help people while I can. Okay? I held back. I wanted to share my life with people for a long time. I was scared. What will my family think if I share my life? What about the people that were in my life? What about these leaders who have been oppressing me and making me feel ashamed of myself? Yes, even the leaders on television. And you know who you are. I'm not mentioning your name. You know who you are. All right, I love you. I love you. And I understand it goes two ways. All right, two ways. You know, I'm the perceiver, and it's how I perceive your teachings. Okay? And I'm going to learn from my own trials and errors. I'm going to make mistakes. But I guarantee you this, I'm not going to be holding a book and telling you to focus on God's Word. I promise that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at you in the mirror right now and through the monitor. I'm going to tell you, get your mind on your heart. Get your mind on your heart. Listen, I'm not trying to steer you away from anything you believe in or what you love. But anytime we put our mind on everything that's outside of us, we get lost. And my testimony is going to show you and tell you that my mind on God's Word, though helpful, had me lost for a very, very long time. My fault, right? My fault. My perception of what was being read said to me, I brainwashed myself too, you know? I got stuck in a trance and dependent on God's Word, on the words of others speaking to me through the television. And let me tell you something, I lived quite a life because of it. But in the same token, in the end, I found out, number one, I probably never would have lived that wild life if I weren't locked in to their teachings and my own teachings through God's Word. But as well, can I just say, as well, it was a great disappointment for me in the end to find out that I am God. You're God. Is it disappointing? I don't know if it's disappointing or not. It's a relief. It's a relief. It means you can take control of your life, okay? You can take control of your life now. You don't have to be praying for things out there somewhere. We're always taught everything's out there. I have never been taught that it's in here. Never, never. I have never been taught that it's in here. Just on the other side of here, my boobie. I've never been taught that it's inside my heart and the importance of lining up my brain with my heart. You don't line your brain up with my heart, okay? You don't line your brain up with my brain. Please don't do that. Line your brain up with your heart. How do I do that? I'm here to help you do that. Okay? Let's just get one thing straight. What we need the most in life is not way out there. And everybody will teach you that. Everybody's taught me that. Everything I want in life, everything I need in life, everything I long for, everything I love, my happiness. My happiness is the car. My happiness is the duck. My happiness is the pond. But I've never been taught that the happiness for Tracilyn is already in her heart. And the happiness for you is in your heart. I want to help you tap into it, or maybe you can help me go deeper into mine. Would you do that? You have a big bulldozer? You got a big bulldozer? You got a big bulldozer. So, understand this. I love religious leaders. We're teaching each other. But I used to at one time look up to leaders of this country, leaders of any organization, and I would think that they know it all, but they don't know it all. And any good teacher would tell you they don't know it all. And they're lucky if they know anything. You know, really. And me too. I'm lucky if I know anything. A good speaker, a good teacher will let you know they might be totally wrong about everything. But I'm here to tell you that I'm pretty confident that what you're looking for in life already is in your heart, and it's not out there. And let me tell you something, you don't have to pray to God way out there. And talking to yourself is very healthy. And don't let anybody ever tell you any different. People will call you crazy because we've been taught that it's crazy. They will tell you that it's wrong because we've been taught that it's wrong. And that starts off in going to school. It starts with our parents. It starts with our grandparents. It starts with our uncles. It starts with everything. Everybody that we know begins to feed their ideas of what's true and what's not true. But I'm here to tell you and to help you. I know that you want to help me, right? You care about me, don't you? Don't get mad and walk away and click this off. All right, please don't do that. Please. How about we all calm down, okay? And you give me room to be human and get a little angry. Sometimes. This is very therapeutic for me. I love you. I love all people. And I'm smart enough to know that I gotta take the blame for the choices and the decisions I made in my life. However, we're gonna go deeper into that at another time, because it's not fully our faults, because we're taking choices off information that has been handed down to us for centuries. Centuries. Cavemen have to take responsibility for what we know today. The dinosaurs. Indians. American Native Indians, who I believe had it right in many ways. Let us give them credit. Let us give them credit. Let's praise them with our life. Celebrate our ancestors, even the cavemen, the Indians, the dinosaurs. I became a dinosaur. I had to become a dinosaur to snap out of the trance I was under. Okay? I had to, and I'll explain that another time. We're coming up on that. That's quite a few years from now. Not necessarily quite a few years now. Listen to me. It's in my history of life as I'm sharing it. Right now, we're getting ready to go into town. I know my voice is really messed up. I apologize. Some of you may be saying, why is it low? Why is it high? Why do you do this? I really want to talk more like this. Here, let me... Hello, everyone. My name is Tracilyn. That's the way I want to talk. But right now, it's very unfortunate for me sometimes I go down here. And I don't really like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I thought of this the other day.
I can go down here. I can go down here if I want to.
Although, that's not very attractive, especially to the man of my dreams, whoever he is. Okay? I want to talk and be very attractive to him. So, really shouldn't talk about boogie fights and stuff like that, right? But we are taught that we gotta carry ourselves and conduct ourselves in one manner. And I'm here to tell you, that's not true at all. We can be whatever we want to be. Imagination. Did you ever go down to Walt Disney World or Walt Disneyland? Isn't that great? You know, imagination. I think sometimes Walt was, and his staff of team of people were some of the greatest teachers in all the world. I loved Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Goofy. And sometimes they just taught us to be goofy, quacky. Right? and how to sing. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. You know? Have forgiveness for anything that I said, because I don't plan on editing a whole lot of this out. And if you give me a chance, you will find out that I do not want to hurt anybody or insult them. But I'm going to be honest on my personal feelings. I have a problem with certain leaders and certain speakers, because even myself, we contaminate people with our ideas. I want you to know I'm not doing it on purpose. And I want to share with you, if you give me time, the importance and how we can find our true selves. And it's hard in a world, like Walt may have said, a world of illusion. A world of illusion where we can be anything we want to be. Many of us have been told that we can't do that. I'm here. If you give me a chance, give me a chance, give me a chance, give me a chance, please. Even you, church leader, even you, Christian leader, even you, Catholic leader, please don't run, please don't go. Where are you going? Come back here. Listen, don't get mad, don't get angry. Give me a chance to explain. If you let me share my life with you and you share your life with me, we're going to learn a lot together. And I'm telling you this right now. I love you. I love you. Give me a chance. All right? We are now heading into town to my third home, where I first got beat up and I had a hero for the first time in real life. It wasn't on the television. Amazing, very good looking man, had a lot of muscle. Might be the reason why Tracilyn likes strong men. All right, I love you. Give me a chance. Forgiveness. Let's have forgiveness for mistakes. People make mistakes. Sometimes people say things they don't really mean, or they didn't mean it that way. Let's give people a chance. How about that? I'm back here at Fort Indiantown Gap, getting ready to go into Lebanon City. You probably won't see this video for a while. It's going to take me a long time to get things uploaded. I love you. Talk to you soon.